Live.
Ready? Hey! Okay, we are ready. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and start talking. Jason got stuck in an appointment pre-approving somebody for a home loan.
That happens.
So, that comes first. So he's going to slide in here with Nicole. His wife is coming.
Okay.
So she is a coach at MVP. And she hangs out and drinks wine with us and then
Perfect.
watches to see if we have any comments. And so she'll say so-and-so has a question. And
Okay.
so she'll help us keep track of everything because we get a little nitty-gritty in here in the kitchen. So introduce who you are.
I'm Andy with RNA Landscaping.
Yeah. And what do you do?
We're a landscape design build company
Yeah.
in the greater West Michigan area.
And I
So-
thought it was really appropriate that you be here today because it's time to start doing our curb appeal. Now, you guys also have a niche in the market, right? You like to do water features in a house.
Yeah, that's definitely one of our, we like to do that too.
Yeah.
So we like a lot of fountains and waterfalls and ponds.
We have a lot of that at my house.
I see that.
We do. We have a lot of my husband likes big and better,
Yeah.
So, they come out and then they set the water and it's this high and he's an engineer and he goes, thank you very much. And then they leave and then he sets it and then the water's this high. Same thing with our tiki torches in the back. So he does that. But while we wait for Jason, I thought we'd talk a little bit about curb appeal.
Perfect.
Talk about why it's important. We're getting ready. We just had a situation. We're getting ready to list a house over here in Cascade, and the house is very cool, and it's got a sports complex, and it's got all kinds of things that you should see. The parking pad is different than anything you could see, and so we're going to drone the property so you can see overhead.
That'd be
Now,
really cool.
it is cool, and I think look up your home one day on either Bing Maps or Google Maps. Does it really look like it looks like today? Because I can tell you on some of them, my house, under construction in 2012, that's still the picture that shows up on some of those maps.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I found that out, I found that when we have relocation people come in, the first thing that they do is they Google the address. They want to see what's nearby because they're not familiar with the area, which then shows them that house that they have of interest, what it looks like. And it's inaccurate most of the time.
Yeah.
So if someone from California is trying to check out this house, they're probably getting inaccurate information. And I would say probably 80% of the time, we don't see the yard pictures. It's mostly focused on the house, and the yard is so important, isn't it?
I believe so. I think it takes a good realtor to really understand that, though, because the curb appeal is very, very important. It truly brings value to the home. I don't know how many times, at least when me and my wife are looking for a house, you're not even out of your car yet.
Right.
You pull up and you automatically say, do we even want to go in?
It's true.
You make that decision right then and there.
You know how many times that I've had
If the
someone
outside
schedule?
looks bad, that's just what happens.
I have people
Yeah,
schedule
we'll
an
just skip this
appointment
one.
and
Go to the
then
next.
yeah.
That's what happens.
It's
Because
true.
you're looking at 10 properties at
It's
once.
true. It's true. I've had people schedule an appointment and cancel before they actually saw the house, and I
Yeah.
bet you any amount of money, it's the drive-by.
Yeah.
It's the drive-by, and they drive by and they go, "Oh, I don't like that front door. It looks old, or I don't like the yard. I can't see any flowers. I can't see, the landscaping. Landscaping is huge, huge,
Yeah.
huge, huge, and it doesn't add much to the appraisal value. But I say there's two kinds of values for your house. There's desirability value and appraisal value. And all day long, desirability value is most important. Sometimes people, if the desire is good enough, they'll pay over the appraisal value. So you gotta make the desire there.
You gotta make it look good.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like doing landscaping. It's one of the things they like to see done when they buy a house, isn't it? Because they want to know that they can move in and not have to deal with it. My husband and I, when we first moved here in 2001, we bought a house in East Grand Rapids. We were the third owner. The owner in between, and I don't know, I don't have my phone, I can't see who's listening, but I will do that right now. But Chris Cameron, if you're listening, it was your house that we bought, right? And so Chris bought the home, and I could say this because she knows. We bought the home from her, and her circumstances changed in her life, so she wasn't able to do what she wanted to do with the home. So the landscaping and the pool all kind of went to the wayside, and they didn't take care of it. The first thing we did was do the landscaping.
Yeah.
So it's the first time we've had, my husband's from Philadelphia, I'm from Miami. We lived in the city all of our lives. It's the first time we had a yard. It was the absolute first time we had a yard. So we thought we would do the landscaping, and so we thought we would manage it ourselves first. And I want to tell you, that's never going to happen in our world ever. It's a lot of freaking work, isn't it?
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. We're talking about landscaping. Jason just walked in. He'll be joining us in a minute. So it's a lot of work. And I don't, for my friends who know me, I put yours right here.
Oh,
There's your, yeah. So for the people that know me, know that I do not enjoy physical work. I will work hard for my clients, but to get my hands dirty. Jason, do I do physical work?
Here, a little laugh, a little chuckle.
I don't do any physical labor. So that was out. My husband was traveling a lot of the time, so he had no time to do it. But we thought it was important that we take care of the yard because it wasn't just important for our value, but it's important to your neighbor's value. It's important to the neighborhood. If your neighbor is trying to sell their house and your house looks like crap, your neighbor is not going to be able to sell their home.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have to list a house in the snowy months, and I'm just going to go with that. But it's true. I mean, back in foreclosure days, do you remember that, Jason, the houses downtown?
Oh, yeah.
Susan that works at Midstate, she was a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Her and her husband bought a house in the city during the winter months, and it was covered with snow. By the time that the snow melted, they found broken beer bottles. The grass had not been attended to. And she will tell you, if she ever logs on here, she will tell you how she wished that was done. That was such a difficult labor.
Yeah.
Such a difficult labor. So we appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
And
There's a lot that can be done too. Like, you know, if you're listing a home that you know that's going on the market, there are lots that can just be done for like cleanup work, right?
Right.
It doesn't have to. You don't have to spend a fortune to just make these properties look decent. Sure, get them looking good for sale. So
The curb appeal.
yeah.
So you probably have, gotta make sure my phone's off. We learned if my phone wasn't off, then we echo in here, so I made that mistake last time, but now I can see comments.
Okay.
So check in. Please share this video. It's going to be a lot of fun. Share this live video with your friends. Have everybody come and tune in. As always, if you have questions, I said Nicole's going to be here, but she's not, huh?
No, she had to train somebody, I guess.
Okay, so if you have questions, we'll try to get to them during the show. If we don't, then we will definitely all stop back in. So you can ask landscaping questions. What's the best thing for curb appeal? We'll go through a lot of this. Real quick, while I get the wine opener, Jason's going to give us a quick market update.
Yes. So yeah, not a lot has changed since last week. Rates are still kind of stabling out in the 4.5 to 4.75 range, depending upon credit, that kind of stuff. But one thing I just want to talk about again, I talk about every time we're here though, is making sure you have a solid pre-approval in place. We had a listing I didn't have a listing. On Sunday, I had to prepare 4 pre-approval letters for 4 different clients, all for the same address. Ended up having 47 offers. 47.
Okay,
Good.
it didn't beat mine. I had 49 on
Okay, you
one,
win.
so I still win.
47, and it ended up going cash. But a lot of the offers too were coming in without pre-approval letters or pre-qual letters, and several agents reached out to me and said, "Yeah, you were in the runnings. We know who you are. Blah blah blah." But it's just one of those things. You want to make sure you're good to go because it is crazy.
It is, and you know what? If you don't have a solid pre-approval, Jason's going to open this for us. When I got the 49 offers on the property that I had downtown, my client knew that I called every lender for every pre-approval to see how solid. Like I'd say, do you have their information? Have you verified their employment? I want to know how solid that is. Now I don't have to call Jason because I know he doesn't write a letter without it. There was a couple lenders I knew that I didn't have to call. Jason, I think you were in that mix. You had a buyer in that game, and Jason called me to tell me. Now, how many lenders do you know do that? They don't really get into it, so this is really important. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about this bottle of wine and where it came from. So this is from RPAC. So they, do you donate to RPAC?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So RPAC is our Realtor, what does it stand for? Realtor Political Action.
What's the C? Committee? No, not C. I don't remember.
Okay, so
RPAC, let's call it that.
it's RPAC. So it's like when bills get passed in the government and for different type of things for home ownership. This is something that realtors do more than just sell a house, or
Yeah.
lenders do more than just lend. We are fighting for your home ownership. We are fighting for your home ownership rights. And so there's been some bills that had it not been for RPAC and our donation to RPAC, they would have had the money to fight and win.
Right.
And there's been some significant things that has happened in the last couple of years where we've really, really needed RPAC. So I always feel like I need to support them. I might not agree with every decision they make, and I always say it's like church. You know, you go to church, you probably don't agree with everything they're saying in church or want to do, but you need to have it. And, you know, so I say it's the same thing for RPAC. You know, I might not agree with everything that they say, but I know that they fight for our rights, and I know life would not be good without them.
Right.
So, so anyway, that's my political lecture. I never lecture politics, but it's important. Our home ownership is very important. So, thank you very much, Doug, for the wine. And we're going to pour and see. This was for Nicole. Now, Nicole, if you're watching, I know you'll watch later. You see that glass down there that's not getting filled out? That's yours. So,
I'll have the drink too.
yeah, so your husband's going to drink all your wine. So anyway, we're going to get ready to cook and talk
All right.
more
Thank
on
you.
real estate. And
Cheers.
cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
So,
What are we making today? Chicken or
oh,
something?
so we're making one of my favorite things. We're making chicken fingers encrusted with nuts and gluten-free crackers, and we're making a sweet potato casserole. So
You're cooking
what
with
I
me,
did
right?
today, I
You're
didn't have.
cooking with me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he always cooks. It's funny because he
She
doesn't
just
know how to cook.
directs. I just.
That's what you I tell you what to do.
It's fine. So, you know, for those of you that are just turning in, we do this because when you buy a house and you look for a house, most of the time the kitchen is the most important place. That's where all the conversation happens. That's where all the party happens. That's where everything happens. So we want to talk real estate. We want to answer your questions, and we're going to cook a little meal. It's always going to be gluten-free, dairy-free, or with an option of gluten-free, dairy-free. Jason doesn't always like that, but that's what we do. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to start you here. We're going to peel the sweet potatoes, and I will give you a bowl to peel them in.
Okay.
And we're making sweet potato hash.
Took me to use
And
it, or-
here you go. You can use this, and then you can peel the potatoes in there. And then I have the pan right here, and we're going to put this over here too. So, yes, that's fine. So, okay, there you go. So you want to peel it first with a peeler.
Yeah, peeler would be nicer.
Yeah.
I want to see you
I'm
do it
gonna
tonight.
myself. I'm killing myself.
See how good you are.
I could do it with a smaller knife without it.
Not that knife. And so, and Jason, you're going to take the chicken,
Okay.
and then you're going to cut it into, tenderloins. And I know you know what that is because I'm sure your kids eat chicken fingers, right?
Yeah, but not ones that I prepare.
Well, you are this time. So,
You're gonna be well trained out at home.
Right.
so I make this all the time. So when I became gluten-free, dairy-free, one of the things that really bummed me out is I couldn't eat the good food, And sometimes you need to have just like macaroni and cheese. Sometimes you just need to have chicken fingers. So I needed to find a way to eat them. And now everybody's just eating healthy, right? And
Yeah, that's the rage.
yeah, Jason's not happy. His wife makes him eat healthy all the
I
time.
love it. What are you talking about?
So, which I think is funny. So,
You don't have a candle. They're still kind of frozen.
I know that's good though, because they'll be
Is it?
easier to cut.
Oh,
See?
it's not- I
Yeah.
was all the way frozen.
No.
How big do you want these?
Just like that,
Roll?
like a chicken finger, regular chicken finger. And so, and I'm gonna take some nuts, and I have a walnut pecan mix. And so nuts have all kinds of great health benefits. And then these are the best gluten-free crackers you will ever eat. And so I'm gonna mix my crackers with them, and then I'm gonna put them in here. So, only I don't know where I'm washing my, look at that, I'm washing this, I forgot. So, I'll rinse this out. Yes, you were in my kitchen and it's a functioning kitchen. So sometimes that's the way it happens. But tell us now a little bit about landscaping, things that you can do to your curb appeal that not to spend a lot of money, that it would actually be really, really good and look good from the street. That would be a big bang. Tell us some things.
I mean, truly, like one of the simplest things is just remulching the flower beds.
Yes.
Obviously, just getting like that fresh coat of mulch down, and just it looks so much better. I mean, like you'll see everybody's already doing it now. Like
Right.
all the flower beds will look great for like 2 months, right? And I'm just like, oh, they look so nice. And
Now, what do you think about different color mulch? I know what I'm going to say about that, but tell me what you say about that.
I guess it depends on what color you're thinking. I mean, I think like just a shredded hardwood or even just like a cedar mulch, But I mean, I don't know.
He's right. You should not use colored mulch. From what I understand,
Yeah.
it's not good for our environment.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a customer that has green mulch.
And it's been
Green?
dyed.
It's green.
Is it Mission State fan?
He is a Michigan
All
State.
right.
Ah, Well,
But it's like
we
it
can
doesn't-
put Michigan State flags in your yard
it
to
just-
do the
but
same
it doesn't,
thing,
it doesn't
but
look good.
it doesn't look good and it's not good for the yard. There's also chocolate mulch. Have you ever heard of that? I know you have.
Yep.
The chocolate mulch. So the chocolate mulch, I didn't know. I used it in my flower bed because it's very,
It's very like aromatic.
that's what I want to say,
Yeah.
aromatic. So it's very aromatic. So when you go past it, you smell the chocolate.
Yeah.
It is literally chocolate.
Yeah.
Like for real. Guess what? Dogs come by and they want to eat it and they'll die. So I didn't know that. So I put out all this chocolate mulch and a neighbor came by and said, this is really dangerous for dogs, and then I had to take it all up because, I wouldn't want to kill
Seems
a
like
dog.
it'd be really dangerous for your diet.
Yeah.
I'm selling chocolate all that? I don't think my wife would like that if I
You
bought
don't think
chocolate
she'd like
mulch.
that?
I do not think so.
Okay, here we go.
All right, how would you like her to cut these?
Alright, so I'm stuck now. So I probably should have done this one beforehand. But we're gonna crunch all these up and with our nuts and our crackers, and that's gonna be coated. So good mulch, I agree.
Yeah, I mean just
And then,
if you do mulch, just trim the flower, trim the bushes, just so they're not like going over the windows and all that kind of stuff. That's like.
How about trees?
Yeah, if the trees need to be trimmed,
Yeah.
trim them up, get them off the house or.
Because
Because
of the
that's
roof,
always gonna
because
be-
Jason, that could be an issue with FHA, can it?
Yeah, if something has moss starts growing on those shingles and stuff.
Well, then you
because
see it on the roof, so
Yeah.
then it becomes a question like, okay, then how does the roof look, or this or that, or.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going for an FHA loan, believe it or not, FHA will make you remove the touching trees.
Yeah.
And if you have moss growing on your roof,
What
it
cubes?
will get up under, cubes, please.
Yeah.
If you get moss on the roof, and if it lasts too long, then it will get up underneath your shingles, and you'll end up having to replace the shingles quicker. But FHA, and I don't know, maybe conventional now. I don't know. Have you seen it on
I haven't seen
conventional?
them call for that to pull it off. I have seen
Okay.
FHA call twice every time, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally had that done. And so, if you don't take care of that now, then you're gonna have to call someone like Andy to take care of it, because if I'm representing the buyer, I'm not gonna let you do it yourself. I'm gonna want a professional do it, because a professional means more to me to have all that stuff done. The other thing I have to tell you about, Andy, is walkways. When I'm trying to walk up to the front door and all the branches are hitting you,
Yeah.
so now you got, and it happens all the time, especially around this time of year. So you got the overhang tree, and I'm short, so by God, if that thing is hitting me, that's kind of a big deal. I'm 5'2". It should not be hanging that low. And so I walk up the walkway, and then you have the tree hanging, and then you have the walkway where it's hanging here, and now we can't walk next to each other. That's a bad feeling, just going up to the house. It's
Well,
a
you
very
just-
bad feeling.
How do you feel about just like the edging around the sidewalks, like the grass and
Yeah, trimming
just
that
that little, edging. It doesn't take that long to do.
It doesn't,
just
and it
makes it
makes
look like
such a
so
big
much
deal.
nicer. It's
Like if you roll up to a house that's got the curb and the weeds hanging over, right over first impressions,
Yeah. Well, like she's saying, like you just want
I'm
to
bringing you
eliminate. You want to eliminate these questions.
You
You want
do.
to eliminate what is this or what is that? the best you can, because there's going to be something that pops up.
All the time,
Right.
because people are walking through their house and they're calculating how much it's going to cost them after they move in.
Right.
So if they have to calculate that I have $30,000 worth of landscaping, that could be a maker or a breaker.
Yep.
Now, they still might need landscaping, but if it looks good to move in, then they're not going to worry about it as an expense.
Right.
All right, yeah, I was going to just say, make sure you skin all the fat off.
Yep.
And then you're going to, this is almond flour, you guys. So when I do a nut, flour, I could do gluten-free flour, but I like doing the almond flour. So you see how this is wet? The almond flour is going to stick to the chicken.
Sure.
And then you're going to, believe it or not, then put it in the egg. Then the nuts. And then we're going to put it on here, okay?
I like it.
All right, so we're going to do that. So we're going to have you do that once you're done the first oven. Beacon's Kitchen, you guys. I know that some of you that have listened before know that this is a Beacon's Kitchen, but everything here is from Beacon's. They install in 2012, and do you know they still come in service? And it's minimal. I think it's really just their cost because it's something they do for their clients. And you
Really?
know what they do when
What do they
come?
do? Yeah.
So they'll come out and they just take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. And when they leave a rose behind.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
Isn't that nice? That's something that you guys could do.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes you enough to like, I mean, so that's what I don't think customers realize, you know, or like companies realize, is that like,
Speak up.
the companies don't realize that, is that because this little tidbit of a rose, I mean, you're still talking about it.
So you know what I did? I was so
Yeah.
excited because I came home, they had a little thank you note, and I had a rose right next to it.
That was for Mike.
Yeah. No, when Mike does roses, you've seen
Oh,
Mike's
yeah, he does
roses.
it.
They're like this big. So that's my husband, for those of you that don't know. And so I took a picture of it and I posted it on Facebook. And I said, thanks very much, Beacons, for the service. Now, you know how many people saw that?
Yeah. A lot.
A lot. So it's actually really, really cool. And so.
So they just come here every year free of charge and like.
No, it's not free of charge.
Okay.
No, sorry, Scott, I know it's not free of charge. They come here at a very low cost. I
Okay.
think it's basically just their cost.
Yeah.
Like, they came to fix my stove and put in light bulbs and a couple other things. It was like $100 and some.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably the labor and the part, and that's it. You know, you can't even fix a car for that much.
No.
You know, so I think it's just Beacons. We do business with Beacons, and when we close as the Borden Group, when we close with Beacons, we actually give all of our clients $350 gift certificates to Beacons.
Oh.
So if they move in and they need a new stove, they can use one gift certificate per appliance.
Okay.
So 3 gift certificates, 3 appliances. And so if they need a new stove or if they need whatever, they can go to Beacons and they can buy this stuff. And so it's actually really, really cool.
That is
So, and we have a couple other things that we give people, but then it gives people in the store. Now, Beacons just acquired, but I just found out not too long ago, Plastic Stereo. Do you remember Plastic
Oh,
Stereo?
yeah.
So Plastic Stereo, when we moved here in 2001, was a really cool plastic stereo place. And it was like, you know, it was the hippest place to go for all of
Get
your...
my windows tinted there, get my stereo set up. Yeah, baby.
It was
I mean,
cool.
How long has it been
So-
closed for?
Well, it's not. Beacons
It's
just
open
bought
now.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how long were they closed in between?
I don't even know.
It
It
was
seems
a
like a
while.
while,
Yeah.
but I'm not positive.
So I think it's the first place that Mike and I got our big, you know, those big TVs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so I think it's the first place that we got that. But now Beacons has it, and it's just fun. You got to go to the store and just walk around. So Will's behind the camera here, but you know, shake it if it's cool. Will, it is cool, isn't it? Will got to walk around with us, and so it's just nice.
Did
And
Beacons us paying us yet for this? All this promotion?
no, they're gonna. You know what? If you guys like the show and we continue to do it, they're gonna let us have the show at their place.
Oh, sweet.
I know. So Victor, hi. He says hello. Dave DeBryan, did you wash your hands?
I did. I did it right
Absolutely.
at the
Whatever.
camera.
Okay,
Yes, I
Dave.
did.
Yes, everybody washed their hands. You didn't see me wash my hands, but I promise you, my hands were washed. And Bill, he wants to know what we're cooking. So for those of you that just turned in, we are doing. It looks really good now too.
It looks really, really good.
Yeah, so we are
You're
doing
gonna find
chicken tenders coated in a nut crust that is gluten-free and dairy-free. And Annie over here is making a sweet potato hash, I guess I would call it. So it's going to be sweet potatoes and peppers and onions with a lot of seasoning, and then we're going to saute them in olive oil and make that. Hi, Brian is watching. Lee Smith, y'all know Lee Smith, right?
Oh,
Yeah, so Lee Smith, do you know Lee Smith?
I don't know these.
So Lee is a realtor.
Hi,
over-
Lee.
Yep, you would get along with Lee, actually, that's why I asked. Lee is a realtor at Keller Williams Rivertown, and he serves a lot of West Michigan, like towards Grand Haven area, and his clients love him.
Yeah.
So Lee's a really good guy. Kelsey is watching. Hi, Kelsey. She's my trainer, and she will be happy to know that we're eating healthy today,
Absolutely, we are.
although I'm drinking the wine. And so,
That's a low cal wine, you're good.
is it low cal wine? It's low cal wine. So, what landscaping things come up in appraisals? Have you ever seen anything come up in a?
Yeah, but it's typically, they think come up, it's not good things. It's typically like someone put $15,000 into landscaping and expect to get that dollar for dollar on the value.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's mostly on a refinance when we're doing those. People are like, oh, I just did $15,000 in landscaping. My house appraised at 180 last year and just appraised for 185. It should be 195. So, and that's really the only thing we run into because a new purchase, we're not really looking at landscaping. I mean,
So let me tell
Do
you
you
what
see
I read.
anything though, truly, like it's a true value to value?
Nothing's a true value
Yeah,
to value.
there's nothing.
Not-
Yes.
No.
Yes,
there's
nothing.
But the average consumer doesn't understand that. They think, yeah, I just
Yeah.
did this. My house value just went, whoosh. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it looks really great, but
You guys
Well, you want to
value-
get a close up here is our chicken nuggets that we're going to put in the oven. And then we're going to put it in at 425 for 20 minutes. Watch this. Alexa, put 20
Timer.
minutes on the timer. Watch.
is it gonna work this time? You tried this last time. It's going.
Yeah.
You know.
Alexa's working for me today, baby. So, I did have something come up on appraisal. So, when you get a VA loan, one of the
Yeah.
things is that the buyer cannot pay for the termite report. The seller or somebody else does, right?
Actually, they just changed that not too long ago.
Did they?
Yeah, because they also didn't allow them to pay for their own closing costs. I mean, the
Perfect.
closing
Now
fee.
we're gonna do onions
But
and
that
peppers.
has been.
You do that together?
Yep.
In here?
So that changed. So you don't have to.
No, the seller really has no responsibility now on a VA loan towards the buyer's cost.
How come I don't know that?
No one knows that. I mean, no one rolls it out. I mean, it was talked about. It came out in the letter a little while ago.
Cue it, please.
But,
Oh, so okay, so back in the day.
yeah, you're totally correct.
Yeah, back in the day, the seller had to pay for the VA for the termite. So we had someone go out and do a termite inspection,
What
and
the seller does though, right?
not anymore.
Not anymore.
That's what he's saying. Not anymore.
We just paid for one,
Well, it depends on who you do with it.
but we
Technically, the rule is
for a VHA.
for an FHA or
No, a VA.
A VA?
loan.
yeah. So
Not
the VA
anymore.
loan used to require not only did you have as a seller have to cover the inspection, but you had to cover like closing fees and some other minor things. They actually, I want to say it was a year ago it got switched. I personally found out about it like a month ago.
Yeah.
Our company does a
Oh.
ton of VA, and I talked to our local expert, and she's like, "Oh no, they changed that." And I'm like, and I said the same thing as you. I go, "Really? I didn't know that. When did that come out?" And she's like, "Oh, a year ago." But what am I cutting this up
Let's see
into
if I-
little
Cubes.
cubes? Oh, ooh, cubes.
All right. Well.
Well,
All right. So how many people pay for a termite report that didn't have to do it?
Well, I think your guys' contract says.
Or,
it
you
still
know,
say?
I know. So
I think it says you still have to.
Yeah.
Our contract says it, so we're probably gonna have to update our contract, so if someone's listening, we need to get that done. So that's no longer the case. So, okay, so back to my point, which, oh my God, I'm glad I brought this up. So, back to my point is, when we went and had the termite, or had
All goes
the,
in.
we had the, termite inspection done, they went and checked the mulch. The mulch had termites.
Oh boy.
Yeah, have you ever seen that before?
I'm not.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that you want to watch out for when you are actually when you are fixing your house and you're going outside Now, if there's mulch, what kind of things do you check for as a hazard when you go out to someone's house?
For when we're selling, or
Anything. When you go out and you go to look at someone's yard, you're probably looking at things that need to be fixed.
yeah,
What are some typical things? Like I know braiding is a big deal.
yeah. I mean, truly, like right now, it's drainage. We've had so
Mhm.
much like rain and everything the last like. I think we're on like 3 drainage jobs. You know. just
Explain
'cause-
what that means.
Well, I mean, because the problem is like the soil isn't going away from the house far enough. So what happened is water's coming in the basement, so we're coming in and we're adding soil and bringing the slope away from the
Grading
house.
or what, yeah.
Yeah, we're grading it away from the house, and that's just a huge issue right now, just because everybody's experiencing it with all the rain and the snow melt. And all that
Look
stuff.
at how good this looks. So you noticed that my peppers were a little wrinkly on the
Yeah.
outside? They will cook up wonderfully here. People would normally throw that away.
Yeah.
I don't throw those away. So parsley, I'm adding a good amount of parsley. Now fresh parsley you wouldn't add this much, but the dry parsley you add a lot more. And then smoked paprika. It's another one of my hidden secret ingredients. Smoked paprika, sorry, is some of the best paprika ever. And you can tell I just finished that up. That was done. So I'm gonna add a little bit of regular paprika to this. So we have that.
Are these going in there too?
So, yep. I like a lot of color. I was taught, so I'm 55, so I'm older than both of you. So I took home ec in school.
I had home ec.
No, you did. Did you
I
guys
had-
have home
I had
ec?
home ec.
Oh, it's so funny. Now, why?
We're not that young.
All right, why did you guys have home ec?
I had home ec in 7th grade.
I had home ec. I think it was 6th grade.
Why did you have to take it?
I think you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to take it.
Then we had an elective and they made me
Yeah.
take it.
Okay, so I know my husband took interior
But
design,
back in the
but
day,
he
we
needed to
had
meet
boys
girls.
classes and girls classes.
So,
No, I think we all took it. 'Cause I remember boys and girls in there.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am, well, you know what, how would I, okay, good,
There
I'm
was like only
glad.
like 11 years between us, so it's, I thought we were like 20 or 30.
That would be,
Like my
okay,
son had
that's
to take
true.
his puberty class yesterday. That was fun.
Oh, jeez, that's funny.
Fifth grader.
Is that grade level?
So do you have lots of questions for you?
He didn't want to talk about it last night.
Oh,
'Cause
my
my
gosh.
wife was very in his face about it.
That's what she wanted. That's funny. All right, I know, good. Okay, we put in paprika, we put in the smoked paprika, we put in the parsley, we're gonna put in a little bit of garlic powder, we already added the onions in here, so that's fine. We added, my nutmeg, remember that, and this is my favorite salt, it's a special salt, so I really like that. And instead of adding regular pepper, I'm using the white pepper because I don't want to change the color of it all. And then instead of using olive oil, because this is all so tasty and fragrant and I don't want to change it, I'm using grapeseed oil.
Grapeseed oil.
Grapeseed oil will not, it doesn't have a flavor, but it will cook at a very high temperature. So you see where it says high heat cooking?
Yeah.
High heat cooking, so that means it's going to be approved to be able to do the saute. So I'm going to put this on here and saute it. Now everything is going to take about, it won't take long to cook this stuff. So, and there's probably about 12 more minutes on
13.
there.
According to Alexa.
So, what house did, Andy, what house did you just sell?
What's that?
Which house did you just sell?
We had a rental that we sold, and we were literally just had a VA loan that was, that was the buyer. And
Sure.
So I literally just paid for it.
So that was-
inspection. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, and that's in the Kalamazoo market, so I mean,
Sure.
that's.
I mean,
But I mean, there again, they probably don't know.
yeah, I mean, it's a national thing through VA. They don't have to, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's in the markets. And again, like I know our purchase agreement. I'm pretty sure it still says.
No, they
So they
just
changed it?
updated it
Okay.
to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, they just updated our purchase
So I
agreement
just
to
know
say it.
because Melissa Balsinas of Greenridge asked me some questions and I did some research, and because she was having some struggles with VA clients who were going and just automatically getting denied. Oh, it's VA.
People would deny
I
them
don't-
because it's VA, which is bogus. They were afraid that the appraisal would be tough, and they didn't want to pay that $125 for the
Right.
termite.
Yeah,
and-
so we did some research just to dispel those myths about, oh, VA costs you more when it really doesn't. It doesn't.
So why don't you make people feel good about VA? Tell them how great a loan it is.
Well, it's a great loan. I mean, obviously you're helping out a veteran or an active military. I mean, first off, it doesn't get any better than helping those people out. But second, it's a $0 loan. It doesn't have to be $0. It doesn't have PMI insurance. That's the big kicker.
What?
No private mortgage insurance.
Oh, really? No PMI?
Yeah, no PMI. So that's a
That's
big
really-
plus.
It's a
Huge.
big deal.
Yeah. You know, the only drawback to it from the customer's perspective is first time use. It's 2.15% of loan amount. So if someone's borrowing $100,000, basically $2,100 is getting rolled in. So obviously that can escalate. If it's a second time use, it's 3.3%. So it starts to add up. I mean, VA is a great product. However, I have a veteran now. He's an older gentleman. He's bought 2 or 3 homes. He's got like 30 grand to put down, and he still wants to go VA. And he's struggling with me on why I want to take him a different way. And I'm trying to show him he's trying to buy a $200,000 house. The 3.3% equals out to like $7,500.
Yeah.
That just goes right under the loan amount. And I understand he's a very proud veteran, and I'm trying to make him understand. Say, look, I am not trying to take away from that. I'm
Right.
just trying to do what's financially responsible.
Right.
And it saves. I mean, it saves him $7,500. So
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
it is. You know, I actually have another guy who's looking at a $300,000 house who wants to go VA.
Yeah.
He's putting down 20% and wants to use a VA loan. I'm just trying to show him the options. And I don't think I'm going to do whatever the customer wants. It's just to me, he's disservicing himself because he's costing himself. This one is $9 grand. How much that funding is, but. VA is a great loan. It's not nearly as stringent as it used to be. If you're a home seller accepting a VA offer, yeah, they're a little more stringent on the appraisal. It's health and safety. So if you have a bad roof, if you have broken panes of glass, if you have chipping paint, they're going to call for that.
Well, and also, you know what? A conventional might call for it too.
Exactly. So it's not nearly as bad. But you know, it's funny. I did a lunch and learn yesterday with about 8 agents. And the first question I asked is, who does listings and buyers? They all did listings, and I asked them, I go, okay, so right now you get 10 offers. 5 of them are government style loan, like an FHA, MH to VA. The other 5 are conventional. I go, what do you do with the Govy? And they all said, we don't even look at those ones. And right. But I understand the rationale because I asked them, and most of these people were new agents. I said, why is that? Like, well, it's so hard on the FHA. I'm like, you know, it's not actually that hard anymore. If it's a certain price point, probably 120 below. Yeah, the house is probably a little dilapidated. FHA might cost a little bit more, but if it's other than that, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, the main things are roof, broken panes of glass, chipping paint.
Yeah, I don't even hear them call out for handrails.
No, that's
anymore.
very rare. It
Yeah.
occasionally happens, but I mean, a lot of the old rules have gone out the window, and the reason that is when we had our collapse, and FHA was still doing fine because so many people were able to go FHA because after a short sale, foreclosure, what have you, bankruptcy, that's the most aggressive program.
Right.
What then happened is Fannie Mae was like, well, I want a piece of this 3.5% down, so they came out with 3% down conventional, and then FHA started to really feel that, and they were hurting, so they've come out and said, you know what, we gotta hold back the reins and not be as stringent on this stuff. And obviously, they're still calling for health and safety, which is important for the home buyer, but it is not that bad of a loan, and that's one thing we're trying to educate on. Now, granted, 3% conventional is better for your customer than an FHA, but some people just can't go FHA, and they might be the better buyer, they might be able to give you a better price. It's just I've seen people not take a customer of mine to FHA that was probably $3 or $4 grand more net to the person.
You gotta look at the whole picture. You can't just look at the loan type, all right? You gotta look at the whole picture. And so, and ask questions and find out, you know, why are they going FHA? Are they able to go this way? So Jason, he said it really fast, but some of our people are coming out of bankruptcy now.
Yeah.
And they're able to go. They've been a home buyer before. They've owned a home, so inspections are gonna go really easy, or easier. All right, so your first time home buyer, they're looking at things and they're getting overwhelmed. I would much rather sell a home to somebody that, as a listing agent, sell a home to somebody that has purchased before than to a first-time home buyer, because I know the process is going to go a little smoother.
I understand.
It's going to go a lot
They've
easier.
been there. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
they
as a
understand.
buyer's agent, I love my buyers,
Yeah.
but I'm able to help them through the process.
Yeah.
And so when you have these new agents that go through and they're listing agents and they're not buyer's agents, they haven't seen that side.
Yeah.
I literally did not list a home for the first 5 years of my career. I only help buyers, which I think makes.
Is that a choice?
Yes, it was a choice. I don't mind saying Katie Karczewski told me that she did not help. She's a second generation realtor as well,
Okay.
And she worked for her mother back in the day, as Amanda works for me now. And her mother wouldn't let her list any homes. She had to work as a buyer's agent for her mother for 5 years. But it makes you a better listing agent because you understand the purchase agreements that are coming through.
Yeah.
You understand. I very rarely accept deals that don't make it through. Very rarely. But sometimes there's unforeseen situation that comes up that no one knew that was happening. But very rarely do you receive a purchase agreement from me that doesn't go through, or as a listing agent, advise my client on the best purchase agreement if we have more than one. Does that not close? Because I was a buyer's agent for a long time, I can read between the lines. I know what they're saying to me.
Yeah.
You know?
So out of that 49, how did you make a decision? You had 49.
Oh, the 49 offers?
Yeah.
I didn't. Now the first thing is, I didn't make the decision.
Okay.
I never make the decision. It's not my decision.
But how did you?
All right,
find
so my seller made the decision, and I'll tell you the story behind that. It's the home on Eureka.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 49 offers. We did not accept the highest offer. My homeowner is a reporter for the Detroit Free Press and inner city activist, you know.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to get involved in that pushing out thing, and it was really important to her that she take care of her family first, but not take the highest price because she didn't want to play that game.
Yeah.
So we literally did not take the highest price. We took the offer that had 0 contingencies. They waived inspections. They said they would pay the difference between appraisal and their purchase price. After we accepted their offer, there was nothing else for us to do other than to go to the closing table. They were done. They washed their hands of it and they were done.
So, I mean,
And that
that's
was important to them.
That's a good-
They bought the house a year and a half before, and it sat through 2 listings, went south, which I find interesting. A year and a half prior, they could not sell that house. It was an old ICCF house. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It had ICCF rocks, man, you know they do. They do everything right when they renovate a home. Or this one was a new build. And for whatever reason, no one wanted it. So we bought it for $60,000, and we sold it for $135,000, I think. Yeah, right around there. So they doubled their money. I told them they would double their money in 5. They doubled their money in, I said, a year and a half, that's 3 years. They doubled their money in 3 years. So I was able to live up to my promise, thank God. And and they were happy, you know, and they were able to buy their next house, and, you know, so it was all good, you know, so, but you have to think what's important to you, and that's how we talk to our buyers, when we help buyers, is we have the buyer consult. So we know what's important, what do you want to look at. We can save you time from going out to homes that don't make sense to you, to making the right offer. I don't care if it takes us 5 or 10 times to write the offer. I would rather you get a fair deal than spend more. Although my husband has a saying, when you have to overbid to win a house, and you actually, you know, spend a little bit more money. He goes, you didn't overpay for the home, you just bought too soon.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, eventually the market's going to catch up with it, right?
Yeah.
You know, when everybody freaked out and the values dived and they were all freaking out, they're almost back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people have equity in their home again,
Yep.
right? So it's just like the stock market. Just hold on to your investment. Don't freak out. It will always come back. You know, there's a couple of sure things in
It
life.
goes up, it goes down.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And so.
How do you feel about like the? I mean, where do you think we are, like real estate right now? I know you have a strong. What's your opinion?
Where do you think we are? Where? What? I mean, that's
Well,
a
you think
broad
it's
question.
gonna keep going up? Or, I mean, or you think we're close to hitting like a?
No, I think we're hitting a plateau this year,
Plateau?
definitely. Absolutely. We, nationally and Grand Rapids, we've had a very slow quarter. First quarter, everybody's had a slow quarter. And it's probably the first time I've had a slow quarter in many years. I mean, we're still selling, but not like we were years past. Now, I think we're gonna I have things coming in April. It's gonna blow up next month, and then
Yeah.
it's gonna be stuff out there. But they're still saying, economists are still saying that we're not gonna have a lot of inventory this year.
Yeah.
We're still gonna be that way. We're trying to do matchmaking, like when we're out and about, you know, I'd say, hey, you and I have done this.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to sell if I had a buyer?
Absolutely.
You say yes, and I happen to know where he would sell. And sometimes we do these off the MLS because it's too stressful for buyers and sellers, you know. sometimes a buyer is so excited to see this house and they know there's gonna be other offers and they walk away and it turned out to be the best buyer, that they don't wanna compete. They don't wanna be, you know, or the seller's like, I just can't deal with all this. I don't wanna put my house on the market because I don't want 30 showings and I don't want to have to make that decision. So sometimes doing it quietly is a win-win for everybody, and it's, you know.
I have a neighbor like that right now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't. Yeah, I mean, and because they travel so much, they don't want to. I mean, they're just. Yeah, they don't want people always in their house and like, you know, are we home? Are we not home? Are we, you know, like.
Well, I can be trusted, making sure your house
So, I mean,
is in
like,
show condition.
People know in the neighborhood their house is for sale, but nobody knows because there's no sign or anything. So how do you sell it, right?
So you tell your agent.
Yeah.
You tell your agent to pass the word.
Yeah.
Like, I want to sell this house because Mike and I want to build our dream home. Believe it or not,
Okay.
this is not our dream home. And I'm getting old. I want everything on one level. I don't want to do steps anymore. And
Okay.
so,
I'll take your tanning bed.
you want the tanning bed? You could have the you know, we thought we would do the tanning bed. We're not doing the tanning bed. But anyway, so we want to sell this house, and I've prepared it, or tried to prepare it 3 times to list it, and then I went, screw it. I don't want to clean it, and I don't want to keep it clean, and I don't want to, you know, and then I thought maybe I'd put it on the market and say, 7 days notice.
No time for a clean lady coming.
It's hard. It's really hard to be able to do that and stay clean. It's, you know, we tell people when we go to list their home, if we're going to list your house, it's going to be an inconvenience. So a lot of times, you know, during the spring market, if we talk to people, we like to get the listing up right before spring market so they can go away on vacation
Yeah.
and then let us show it while they're gone, you know.
Makes sense.
So that's always a good thing. So, well, come and get a look at this. So our sweet potato hash is looking really good. Look at that.
It's coming in nicely.
Look at that. So that sweet potato hash, I'm in the background and you can see that. Our sweet potato hash now is going to be really sweet because that's what the potatoes do.
I think Alexis
So-
telling us it's time for the chicken.
Yep, excuse me. So, watch this. Alexis Smith. I love my Alexis gift. Oh.
When she
Alexis
listens.
dismiss. She's not gonna dismiss.
Yeah, because you just said you love her. Now she's going to talk back to you.
I know, right?
It's like
Alexis,
a teenager.
dismiss. Alexis, stop.
Good, man. Those chicken nuts, guys, take a peek at that. It all looks good.
There we go. She wanted to stop. So, Andy, we're gonna get the chicken out of here.
Perfect.
For that.
It's better than McDonald's.
So, we'll get a close up of our meal. We have our encrusted chicken tenders, gluten-free, dairy-free. We have our sweet potatoes. And guys, any last words to our viewing audience before we eat and drink? Jason, I know what you're gonna say. Come on, say it.
Which part?
Don't use the bank.
Huh?
Don't use the bank.
Don't use a bank. We're a credit union.
Call Jason for your next free proposal. How do they get a hold of you, Jason?
616-328-6708, or you can email me, jjenkins@unionhomemortgage.com.
And I really, really want to be able to sell your home with no issues. So let's work on that curb appeal. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, and if we'd be glad to help you guys if you need any help getting the curb appeal. We definitely got some great options for that. Best for us to go to our website, ralandscaping.com, and you can reach us that way.
And of course, call or text me, Michelle Gordon, 616-443-0596. And GordonGroupGR.com, new website's coming out next week. We're really excited.
Awesome.
Jason and I are on there. We have the home buying seminar online.
Yes.
And we'll be talking more about that next week, and we're very excited to roll that out. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Thank you.